Queen Victoria ascended to the throne at the young age of 18 and ruled Britain for 64 years, from 1837 until her passing in 1901. Her reign, set against the backdrop of revolutionary and Napoleonic victories, was marked by profound industrial, scientific, political, and military changes. This era witnessed Britain's evolution from a rural, agricultural society into the world's first global industrial power. However, this transformation came with significant social challenges, including child labor, pollution, and widespread poverty. Today, one of the most meaningful ways to connect with the Victorian era is by visiting the many historic sites that still exist throughout the UK. These locations, rich in stories and filled with valuable artifacts, offer a window into this vibrant period of history. We've compiled a list of 10 must-see Victorian sites that are unmatched in their ability to bring the era to life, from royal palaces to humble workhouses, allowing you to explore the full spectrum of Victorian life. In 1845, Queen Victoria and Prince Albert commissioned the construction of Osborne House. The Queen once remarked that it was impossible to imagine a prettier spot, making Osborne House one of the royal couple's most beloved residences. It offers a true reflection of their personal tastes and passions. Located on the Isle of Wight by the sea, the estate provided a retreat for the royals and their children from the demands of court life. After Prince Albert's death in 1861, Queen Victoria found solace in staying at Osborne House, where she also hosted guests. Built in the Italianate style, the house was inspired by the views over the Solent, which reminded Prince Albert of the Bay of Naples. The Queen insisted that the house remain unchanged from the time of her husband's passing. The Crystal Palace was a remarkable structure made of cast iron and plate glass, originally built in Hyde Park, London. It was designed to host the Great Exhibition of 1851, an event that showcased over 14,000 exhibitors from around the world, presenting cutting-edge technological advancements from the Industrial Revolution. Regarded as one of London's, and indeed the world's, great marvels, the Crystal Palace was 3 times the size of St. Paul's Cathedral and symbolized the era's emerging modern architecture and industry. It was a favorite of Queen Victoria and Prince Albert, who opened the exhibition and frequently revisited the site. After the exhibition concluded, the Crystal Palace was moved to Penge Place in South London, where it remained until a fire destroyed it in November 1936. The surrounding area and a well-known football club, Crystal Palace, still bear the name of this iconic landmark. Although the palace no longer exists, the Great Exhibition can be explored through a virtual tour that uses modern technology to recreate the event. This tour allows viewers to appreciate the grandeur of the building and delve into the details of the exhibition, including intriguing stories such as the woman who walked all the way from Cornwall to attend. Constructed in 1824, the workhouse stands as the best preserved example among the hundreds of workhouses built across the country during the Victorian era. The workhouse system, developed by Reverend John T. Becher and George Nichols, significantly influenced the treatment of the poor in the 19th century. Rather than each parish individually supporting those in need, Becher proposed that local parishes pool their resources to build workhouses where the poor could be housed and employed. These institutions, characterized by segregation and harsh conditions, were designed to act as a deterrent, ensuring that only the truly destitute would endure life within their walls. Today, visitors to the workhouse and infirmary can gain insight into what life was like inside such an institution. The stories of the people who lived and worked there in the 1840s prompt us to consider how society has historically addressed poverty. The Industrial Revolution was driven by the development and use of steam technology, with Britain's rapidly expanding railway network during the Victorian era opening up new possibilities for travel, holidays, and the movement of goods. These advancements led to significant growth in business, the expansion of towns and cities, and the spread of political, social, and economic ideas across the nation. The National Railway Museum, the largest of its kind in the UK, houses over 1 million artifacts that tell the story of Britain's railway history and its impact on the country's transformation. Among the museum's highlights are a miniature railway, train simulator rides, and demonstrations that showcase the various energy sources used throughout the history of rail transport. Additionally, a new audio trail guides visitors through historic locations, such as the Great Hall, recreating its past as a bustling engine shed. Charles Dickens was a renowned English writer and social critic, widely celebrated as the greatest novelist of the Victorian era. He created some of the most iconic characters in English literature, including Ebenezer Scrooge and Tiny Tim from A Christmas Carol, Oliver Twist and Bill Sikes from Oliver Twist, and Pip and Miss Havisham from Great Expectations. These characters remain beloved to this day. The Charles Dickens Museum, located at 48 Doughty Street, was once the family home of Dickens. The house has been preserved to resemble how it looked during the time Dickens lived there, and it houses a collection of about 100,000 items that belong to the author. From letters and furniture to clothing and illustrations, the museum offers a glimpse into Dickens' life and provides insight into middle-class life in Victorian London. Balmoral Castle was purchased specifically as a holiday retreat for Queen Victoria and Prince Albert, and has served as a royal residence since 1852. Originally a hunting lodge built in 1390 by King Robert II of Scotland, Victoria and Albert found the existing structure too small for their needs. Located in the picturesque Cairngorms National Park in Aberdeenshire, the couple chose this area after hearing that its weather was better than other parts of Scotland. According to her diary entries, Queen Victoria spent much of her time at Balmoral taking long walks, painting, sketching, and participating in hunting events. Their frequent visits to Balmoral played a key role in making Scotland and its castles popular tourist destinations. Inspired by their example, many people began visiting Scotland for their holidays. Balmoral also became a cherished residence for Queen Elizabeth II, who inherited it and spent her summers there regularly. Her Majesty passed away at Balmoral on September 8, 2022, at the age of 96. Following the Queen's recent passing, Balmoral Castle is currently closed until further notice. If you're interested in stepping back in time to experience a slice of Victorian life, a visit to the Salford Museum and Art Gallery is highly recommended. The museum features a charming recreation of a typical northern street as it would have appeared during the Victorian era. Set at the turn of the 20th century, the street captures the atmosphere of a winter evening at tea time, with the street gas lamps freshly lit. Visitors can explore the various houses and shops along the street, peering inside to get a glimpse of life in that era. The background is filled with authentic sounds of the time, including horse-drawn carriages, children playing, and the calls of knocker-uppers, workers who woke people up to ensure they got to work on time. In addition to the street, Salford Museum offers several galleries that delve into social history, providing a well-rounded experience. In the early 19th century, London's rapidly growing population and high mortality rate led to a serious issue. There was not enough burial space in the city. The situation was dire. Graveyards were overcrowded, with bodies being buried wherever space could be found, between shops, houses, and taverns. Corpses were often wrapped in cheap material and interred in shallow graves. To address this, Parliament enacted a law that required the creation of new private cemeteries in the countryside surrounding London. Highgate Cemetery, established in 1839, was one of these new burial grounds. Highgate quickly became one of London's most fashionable cemeteries, serving as the final resting place for approximately 170,000 people across 53,000 graves. Few places evoke the atmosphere of a Victorian cemetery as vividly as Highgate. Nestled on the shores of Lake Windermere in Cumbria, Stott Park Bobbin Mill once played a crucial role in the Lancashire spinning and weaving industries, producing millions of wooden bobbins. Established in 1835, it remains the only operational mill of its kind in the Lake District today. Though small in size compared to other mills, Stott Park employed around 250 men and boys, who often worked in harsh conditions to manufacture 250,000 bobbins each week. Today, visitors can explore the history of the bobbin mill industry through engaging exhibitions and guided tours. Guests also have the chance to witness the entire process, from tree to bobbin, using the original belt-driven machinery. Since its opening in 1871, the Royal Albert Hall has been one of London's most cherished entertainment venues. It has remarkably retained its appearance from Queen Victoria's era, having weathered the trials of 2 world wars. Initially known as the Central Hall, its construction was spearheaded by Prince Albert, funded by the profits from the Great Exhibition of 1851, held just across in Hyde Park. Queen Victoria renamed the building to Royal Albert Hall of Arts and Sciences. It was officially opened by the Prince of Wales on March 29, 1871, on behalf of his mother. Although Queen Victoria was present, she was too overwhelmed with emotion to speak, as the hall was a poignant reminder of her late husband, Prince Albert, who had passed away in 1861. Unfortunately, Albert did not live to see the hall named in his honor. Today, visitors can take tours of the Royal Albert Hall, exploring the royal areas, admiring the stunning auditorium, and viewing the renowned stage that has hosted notable figures like Winston Churchill and Albert Einstein.